In this bulletin, case numbers continue to increase. COVID-19 scare at Parliament. And villagers not letting guard down. Good afternoon. 28 cases of COVID-19 were recorded yesterday, with 151 active cases now in isolation. The second wave has a total of 244 cases since March this year. Fiji has had 314 cases in total, with 159 recoveries and 4 deaths since our first case was reported on March 19, 2020. Over 58,000 COVID-19 laboratory tests have been conducted during this current outbreak, with 98,915 tests conducted in total since testing started early last year. This does not yet include the 11,000 samples recently tested in Australia. Parliament sittings scheduled for today and next week have been cancelled. Speaker of Parliament Ratu Epeli Nailatikau says this decision has been made after Secretariat staff was identified as a primary contact of a COVID-19 positive case. Ratu Epeli says as a precautionary measure and upon the directive of the Ministry of Health, the parliamentary precinct and offices will be closed with immediate effect until further notice. The Speaker of Parliament says all parliamentary business will resume upon advice and clearance from the Ministry of Health. The University of the South Pacific is working to ensure that students who paid for face-to-face courses and are studying online during this pandemic will be compensated. Speaking to FBC News, the university's Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Education Professor Chito Vanualelai says that the welfare of the students remains on their agenda. Fee reduction has also been taken by the university to ensure that these eases the burdens on students who are financially challenged during the second wave of the pandemic.
I do know that we put into place all other measures, financial measures, to ensure that our students they continue the learning, but at the minimal cost.
The Ministry of Agriculture, through its Cash for Cultivation program, aims to assist farmers who were severely affected during the recent cyclone. Agriculture Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says this initiative is designed to respond to farmers' needs and sanction green growth. He says the Cash for Cultivation program contributes to food security of farm households and stimulates rural economy.
And our ongoing programs, we are trying to build resilience amongst our agriculture sector, particularly in the farm households, so that they are able to bounce back quickly from the shocks. Number two, they are able to, the damage from the shocks are minimal, and at the national level, we doesn't disrupt our overall strategy to grow agriculture.
Villagers of Sikituru in Nandi will not let their guard down, although there are no confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the Western Division. Village headman Samuela Malua says the 15-day no cases should not easily sway people to think that the storm is over, as the virus can re-emerge anywhere at any time. Chosaina Nunga has more.
Virus moves.
These villagers of Sikituru in Nandi have been told that no confirmed case means no reason for celebration, as the virus poses a very big risk.
We heard over the news yesterday that few patients who were admitted at the Lutoko Hospital Isolation Facility have been discharged, and no cases recorded in the West for the past 2 weeks. This will not stop us from maintaining our community restrictions in place.
Laturangani Koro says Fijians in traditional settings play an important role in the fight against COVID-19.
We've banned social gatherings. Right now, physical distancing, washing of hands regularly, and temperature checks are most protocols that villagers have to follow.
Community health worker Annie Vakeni says we must learn from other countries that are already seeing a declining number of cases, but then cases started to emerge again.
We're working closely with the Provincial Office, Health Ministry and Police Force to ensure every villager is safe
Every day I made it my business to remind villagers of the importance to maintain clean hygiene.
Meanwhile, with no confirmed cases in the West recently, an announcement by the Health Ministry about relaxing various restrictions in the division is expected over the next few days. Jose Nanuga, FBC News.
The government will have to think rationally in order to rebuild our economy, says Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama. One of the ways is to first get Fijians vaccinated before we move ahead. While supporting a motion amend to a loans guarantee for Fiji Airways, Bainimarama says people need to return to their jobs.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought major economies to its knees, but Bainimarama believes for Fiji, we can survive the test if we take some bold steps.
For Fiji to open up its borders, return to strong economic activity, and resume some levels of normalcy, we need to first ensure that Fijians are safe, secure, and healthy, which is why we must all make it a priority to take the vaccine jab when the opportunity arises.
Bainimarama also acknowledged Fijians, especially in the Central Division, for showing up in huge numbers at the vaccination centers this week.
Mr. Speaker, there are and will be many more opportunities to get the jab. My government has a plan in place that will protect the whole of Fiji and its people. But we must all take heed of the advice of the Ministry of Health and abide by the COVID-safe regulations.
While necessary precautions have been taken to safeguard Fijians, Bainimarama says at the same time, they need to set the foundation for growth and development amid the pandemic. Aquila Vama, FBC News.
Up ahead, Tangi Tuimua gets second call for Bears. And Touch Rugby franchise opens new door for players. Welcome back. After his debut for the North Sydney Bears, Kaiviti Silktails captain Penioni Tangi Tuimua has attributed his recent achievement to the Silktails training. In an interview with FBC Sports, Tangi Tuimua says the training and conditioning at the Silktails camp equipped him well for last weekend's match. The Touch Fiji franchise competition is not only an eye-opener and new opportunity for players. Touch Rugby officials were also blessed with the first few rounds before it was put on hold due to the second wave of COVID-19 in the country. Head of referees and former national rep Maleli Ului Moala says they are looking forward to the resumption of competitions once restrictions are relaxed.
We've improved a lot in game of the game's knowledge and interpretation of the law during the game, and still work in progress for some of the inexperienced refs.
Tennis star Naomi Osaka has caused a major stir. The world number 2 won't attend post-match media conferences at the upcoming French Open, and she faces a hefty fine for this self-imposed ban. Fiji Mbati forward Tui Kamikamica was instrumental in Melbourne Storm's 40-12 win over Brisbane Broncos in round 12 of the NRL last night. The 27-year-old burst through Brisbane's defense to score the second try and help give them a lead in the first half. Onto the weather, a weak trough of low pressure lies to the north of Fiji and is expected to affect the northern parts of the group from early tomorrow. That's FBC News Now. Join us for our 1-hour major bulletin at 7 p.m. And be sure to download the FBC app to access the latest in news, sports, and live radio broadcasts from any of our 6 FBC radio stations. Stay safe and good afternoon.